The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual guests. If you're a sensitive snowflake that may get easily offended, then turn this off immediately. If you want to hear the real truth about the gun culture, then stick around. This is the Armed Citizen Podcast. What is going on, my Go Squad? Welcome to the Armed Citizen Podcast Live. This is episode number 155. Today's date is Tuesday, August 25th, 2020. Like I said, we are live as always on YouTube. If you're watching live and you're here in the chat, make sure you say hello. We don't know that you're out there unless you do say something. If you're new to the channel, new to the show, let us know that you're out there. Tell us where you're from. We'll give you a shout out. Hopefully we don't make you any dumber. Can't guarantee that, but we're going to try to educate you just a little bit, have a little fun while we're doing it. If you're listening in replay or listening in podcast form and you guys have any questions for us, utilize the comment section below. We can always continue the conversation that way. Tonight's episode is brought to you by our good friends at Sportsman's Guide. Guys, if you are interested in anything outdoors, whether it's hunting, fishing, shooting, camping, anything that has to do with outdoors life, you can find anything that you want in Sportsman Guide, except maybe ammo. I don't know if ammo is available there or anywhere right now. So, but go check out our good friends at Sportsman's Guide. And if you have a question, like I said, tag myself or Clover or Gabriel, and we'll try to get you going. The battle pup is in the background barking, so this should be interesting. Hope you guys don't hear the little pup out there. But we want to also remind you that you can text or call in your questions to the Ghost Tactical Hotline presented by our good friends Rod and Shelly Gates at the Gun Cleaners. That number is 530-364-4678. So tonight we have a special guest. Before we get to him, we want to bring in our basically our quasi co-host at this point from the great state of Texas. We've got the tactical leprechaun himself. What's up, Clover?
Oh, just waiting on a hurricane, apparently.
Waiting on a hurricane. So which one's supposed to come in first, Laura or
Marco? Marco petered out. Marco got up close to.
Does that surprise anybody? No,
that Marco petered out.
Knowing Marco that petered out. That just if anyone knows Marco we're talking about, you'll know what we're talking about.
All hot air, wasn't it?
All there.
It was aptly named. Yes. No, I mean they're getting some rain and some other stuff still from that. Still remains to be seen, not to get all meteorological with it, but Marco's still, the remnants of it still out there, a little bit of low pressure with that. So it's going to be interesting if and when Laura crosses that, what's going to happen. I mean, we don't know, but right now they're saying it's going to hit as a Cat 3, which is a major hurricane. And actually by the time it gets to you guys in Arkansas, it's still a tropical storm. So
yeah, and I really need some rain. I mean, it sounds bad, but it's been 3 weeks without a drop of rain, and my yard's starting to turn brown, and we could use some rain. I don't know if they're calling for up here, they're getting anywhere from 2 to 8 inches. Yeah. I don't know if I need 8 inches of rain, but I could use 2 inches of rain. That's
right now we're going to be about 3 counties from the projected model. I'm about 3 counties maybe west of the eye wall. The projected path. So I mean, if it shifts much to the west, we're screwed. But
see a bunch of wind and rain then.
We won't see a lot of rain being on the west side of it. Most of that's the east and maybe to the south. But if you're around Louisiana, Texas, you're down on the coast. Hopefully, you're getting the heck out of Dodge right now. Hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone was up there. I can't remember. I'm going to go find it. It says it was hot as hell down in Corpus way. Mm-hmm. Who lives down in Corpus? Oh, Wayne Barnhart says hotter than hell here in Corpus Christi. I hope that you guys are going to be safe because Corpus is probably right in the way of where that's coming through. I imagine.
No, it'll be a ways.
Not going through Houston, Corpus.
It's going to come up right at the Louisiana-Texas border.
Oh, okay.
Right in that area. So their Corpus is a good ways west. They'll be okay.
All right. Well, tonight we've got a good guest that it's going to be interesting on you guys. I'm sure you've heard of the product, but you may not have understood exactly what it is and how it works. But from Digital Trigger Technology. We got Gabriel from Digital Trigger Technologies, aka DigiTrigger. What's up, man?
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me.
Oh man, absolutely. Yeah, we kind of hooked up through a mutual friend of ours, which is he's out there, Rod and Shelly Gates at the Gun Cleaners. I guess you guys hung out a few weeks back at a shoot or whatever, and he said, "Hey, you guys got to hook up." So I think we hooked up through Instagram. Yeah, the hat's a pretty cool hat.
Nice hat.
Nice hat. Good people. So before we kind of get going and all of that, kind of give maybe your personal background. And I know you've been working with DigiTrigger since January. So maybe talk a little bit about the company and before we go into the specifics of basic generalities of what the DigiTrigger is.
Yeah. My background is military, specific branch. I started there.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
Everything's backwards on camera.
You mean that one over there? Yeah.
That one there.
That one there. Yeah. Yeah.
I got one of those.
And that one there. Yeah.
I started with the Marine Corps and then after the Marine Corps, I took a break in service and I felt like I was, I don't know. I was young at the time. I was 25 and I felt like I hadn't done it, hadn't finished it. And the war was rolling. And so I ended up going back and ended up in the Army National Guard for 12 years and did deployments with them and met probably the largest amount of Marines I've met in a long time outside of the Marine Corps in the Army National Guard. It was pretty entertaining.
That was just some stories there.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun stories there, man. It's a lot of good camaraderie when you put a bunch of Marines in an Army uniform and tell them to run things. So it was kind of interesting. I bet
you some of the guys were shell shocked a little bit, like, what the hell just happened here? What's this guy?
So the first day I walked in this unit, the first day I walked in this unit, some kid came up to me, and I'm a corporal, from the Marine Corps, and this kid comes up to me, and he's all I see is one wing. He's got a mosquito wing there, and he walks right up to me. He's like, "Hey, are you new?" And I was like, I just unleashed the Marine Corps on him. I was like, "On your face," right? Because he's not.
You went straight up DI on him, didn't you?
Like, who are you to talk to this NCO without addressing me properly? You know what I mean? And so then I hear this voice from above, and it just goes, "Corporal Red." And I look up, and there's a guy hanging over the rail, and he's like, "Get up here." I go up there, I meet the first sergeant, and he's like, "Hey, look, man, this is the National Guard."
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't do that here. It's not like the regular military. It's not like the Marine Corps. And come to find out, he was a former Marine. So anyway, I released the guy, and then later on, we became pretty good friends after that. But anyway,
so
it was
kind of like in the Army now. I don't know if you remember that movie or not with Pauly Shore back in the day.
What is it? There's a song about him as the most easily forgettable actor or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that movie. That's pretty funny. So fast forward, like 15 years, and I end up in Tennessee and in the gun business somehow. And that's me.
Okay, I was gonna say either this is one of your buddies or this is you, but you already got a fan. So
yeah, I'm my biggest fan right here. I mean, look at that. The most attractive man I've ever seen.
Well, I think John Lovell would probably kind of maybe want to fight you for that title. He's pretty happy with his looks as well. So
that's funny. No, I just play around, man. I'm not conceited. So I end up in the gun business out here in Tennessee, and I worked at a gun store for a while, and then I bought that gun store. And that's when I met DigiTrigger. And so I started selling their products and getting really familiar with it and understanding it. And I realized that they were really onto something like significant, something that was a game changer for the industry.
Yeah, I was watching the other night. You were doing an Instagram live, and that's kind of where we met.
Yeah,
and you had one of the lowers out and was showing you had to hit the battery up and was showing how it worked and all that. And I was like, I'd heard of it, but I had never really kind of looked at it or kind of seen. I was like, oh damn, that's pretty badass. So for the people out there, that may not understand the technology of the DigiTrigger and what it is, can you kind of give a basic overview of what it is? And then we can, while you're doing that, I want to kind of spam the chat with links to the website and all that stuff. But
yeah, I'll grab one. I've got mine right here, actually.
Right on.
Let me just take this upper off.
Yeah.
That way I don't mess with it. It is one of mine. I got to check and make sure it's not loaded.
I understand. The website, guys, we're going to put on there in the chat. The website's out there, and from there you can get to YouTube, to Facebook. He's on Instagram and all that. But we'll throughout the show we'll continue to drop those links. But to get an idea, there's the link to DigiTrigger.com. All right, go for it. Oh, I think you muted yourself. There you go.
Oh, it's still doing it.
There you go. You're good.
Oh, now I'm good. Okay. I've got to say, Clover, that is the most impressive I've ever seen. I've never seen anybody stand still for so long with the same look on their face.
And what's crazy about that is he's smoking, but you can't even see the smoke come out of the pipe. I mean, I guarantee it's amazing, isn't it?
Tobacco's expensive, man. Can't waste that stuff.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I mean, I haven't even seen him blink.
Got a little bit of royal guard in my blood, apparently.
Yeah. Those leprechauns, man, they don't blink at all, man. They're scary, bro. They're scary.
That's crazy. I was just trying to check the comments here. If you get a question or something, just hit me with.
I sure will.
Okay. So basically, our system is any mil-spec AR, and I'm going to have to cover my face a little, but it has to have a removable trigger guard right here. Okay. So the removable trigger guard is part of our system. It's the grip, the trigger guard, and then the proprietary components of the trigger or the fire control group. They are based on a mil-spec platform, so you can kind of see in there. It doesn't look a whole lot different than your standard mil-spec trigger. That's because it's really not. It's based on it. We kind of cut it up in 3 pieces to make it work with our system. So what that means for you is that safe is safe and fire is fire. So if I'm here, I'm in safe, right? Standard safe mode. And then we go to fire. That's mechanical. That has nothing to do with our system whatsoever. There's nothing digital going on there. Safe is safe, fire is fire. So at this point, there's no interference. There's no electronic interference, if you will, with the system. What happens when we turn our system on is we go to that third position right there, and that's when the lights come on. Okay, now just arm the system. And essentially what it's doing is it's taking that 5-pound trigger that we have in there right now is mechanical, and it's lightening it up to a 1-pound trigger. But it's not a mechanical 1-pound. It's an assisted trigger, so it's not unsafe. We've got safety features built in. There's a safety right here. So right now, if I try to pull that trigger, nothing's going to happen because I have to put that safety on to make that trigger work. And that right there is the trigger pull. You can see my finger twitch.
Incredible. That's awesome.
So basically what it is it's the same. It feels exactly the same as clicking a mouse on your computer. And then that gives you that semi-automatic, really nice precision trigger for, pinging that same target over and over and over. And it doesn't require the strength of pulling, a 5 or 6 pound trigger. It's just a little twitch of your finger and you're sending one down. Now, we can turn that safety off for a precision shooter that maybe wants to run his finger, on the side of it. You get those guys that want to run their finger kind of like that, and then they want to do their precision shot. Well, we just turn it off with that SR button. So we press that button. That turns off that safety. Now we can operate it in that position if we want to just go ahead and run that safety that way. The final feature, which everybody really digs, and this is one of my favorite things, is kind of the fun button, and that's the pull and release mode. So this is where it functions like a binary trigger, although binary triggers are mechanical in nature, like your Fostex and your Franklin Armories. Those are mechanical triggers, and ours is an assisted trigger, so it's actually a hybrid system. You press this button right here, and now you're in that pull shot and that release shot. And that's where you get that rapid fire.
So there was when you were doing the other night, you were talking about a feature that I really thought was interesting. Was if you're in the pull release mode and you want to stop,
right?
And there's a way to disconnect that mode without having to get your finger and push the button, all that, for people to be safe. There's a way to disengage it, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, so like I said, we've got safeties built in. The biggest safety being this backstrap safety. Nothing works unless you turn it off or you have it engaged. It's just like a 1911 as far as that goes. When we're in that pull and release mode and we're going, if I pull it and I don't want that release shot, I can do two things. I can push that button. I can reach up and push that same button again, or I can hold it for about 4 seconds, and when I release it, nothing happens. But once I start again, we're back in that mode. It's a reset that doesn't take away the function.
That's pretty awesome. Clover, do you have anything before that was maybe out there in the chat or something that you want to ask real quick?
G23, I mean, you knew talking about an AR, this was going to come up. They make it for the AK platform yet?
We don't make it yet. That would be as far as I can say right now. But I wouldn't be surprised if it showed up on the market.
Nice. There you go. Okay, so basically what you're saying is you have 3 different triggers in one, which is incredible. And I love the fact that it's basically an assisted single stage when you get the I guess it's not the pull and release, it's the regular DigiTrigger. It turns into almost a single stage 1 pound trigger. Is that right?
Yeah, it turns into a single stage 1 pound. So basically the way this mechanism works is, if you can imagine, this would be your trigger bed. You know, you got your sear and your hammers here like this. So what is happening when you pull that trigger is it's lifting up a little bit, and that releases the hammer. Okay. So what our system does is basically primes it. So it goes up when you pull that trigger, that micro switch gets hit and it taps it real fast. And so it releases the hammer. Well, when you're in pull and release, it goes up and does it twice. So it resets itself super quick. And that's kind of the way that it works. There's only one moving part in the entire thing. I had one, I don't have it here with me. I think I put it on a gun, but I had one broke down so I could show people what was inside of it.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that's a toy.
This is going to be coming up, I'm assuming, throughout the chat. I'll go ahead and get this out of the way. Right. JS says, "Oh, I want one. How much?" So I know that you have a couple different things that you guys offer through the website. You have just a trigger system, then you have a lower and all that. So you want to go through, we'll talk about it again later, but kind of go ahead to start out to kind of start the ball rolling on prices.
Yeah. So online on our website, we have just the standalone trigger systems. We have a 50 state legal version, which doesn't give you the pull and release mode.
Gotcha.
It gives you the 1.1, which is
still pretty awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it still gives you that 1 pound digital mode, which you can fire super fast if you really want to. We can fire up to 13 rounds a second in pull and release. So split that in half, and you're still getting that with a 1 pound trigger. So that one starts at $4.99 for just the trigger itself. The 1.2, which is the one I just demonstrated with the pull and release, that one's $5.99. But for your viewers tonight, if they're interested, we'll put the code up, DT10. That'll give you 10% off the kit. So DT10,
10% off, guys.
That'll give you 10% off the kit itself, which is about $60 or $50 depending on which one you order. And then we also sell complete rifles. We sell lowers with the DigiTriggers already installed. So I think we just relisted. We got some more in. We got 10 FNs and 10 Bushmasters with the DTs installed, which ARs are super hard to come by right now. So
yes, they are.
And we just sold out of our lowers, but I've got, I believe, 8 or so Rock River demo lowers that we're going to be putting up. So the lower itself has never been used, but we used them at shows. So we go through and we replace all the internals. It's essentially brand new, but the lower's got some, scratch and dent stuff.
Yeah, so our buddy the gun snob out there, we were talking pre-show. He says, his first booth reviews he ever did was with them, and he was talking about the Wanamaker, and we were talking about that. So Snob lives in Tulsa. So if you guys ever plan on going to Wanamaker, several of us go both times a year and cover as media. So you'll do a bunch of the guys out there. Now, Clover, I know that you've got a couple questions yourself. Go for it.
Yeah, and then there's a couple from the chat, but mine was, you guys have a patent on this, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good deal.
Yeah, we have 9 patents currently.
Oh wow.
As well as 7 years of R&D before this model ever came out.
Nice.
And we have patents right now for future generations of the product that we're working on.
Good deal. You were so detailed with it there. I was concerned there for a minute.
Yeah, you don't want people doing your stuff, You
can buy one for $5.99 and it gets shipped to you to install, and you know what's in it, so it's not a secret. What we have patented though is a part that's in there that literally you can't do this without that piece. There's no way around it for the AR platform to do exactly what we're doing without that specific piece.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That was the 7 years.
Let's see here. Before you go to the next one there, G23 says, do you AR-10s?
Yeah, so that's a great question. We get that a lot. It's any AR platform.
Okay, so any AR down the line.
Yeah, so my next one is this guy right here. That is basically a CMMG 22 kit inside that AR.
Oh, wow.
The 22 is the fastest we have. If you do a 22, I mean, it's the fastest one.
I would imagine, and I don't know, for like Steel Challenge or IDPA, when you start talking about it, a lot of them are doing PCC divisions now. But can you imagine doing like a 22 in Steel Challenge with that trigger? That would be kind of fun, I'd bet.
Yeah, you have to do it with the semi-auto only, the 1.1.
Yeah.
But
because there's no way to move. I mean, unless you're just having to time it, I guess, perfectly. But I don't know. They won't allow the binary side of it.
No, they don't allow that function, that style, because it's a rapid fire trigger, if you will. But with the 1 pound trigger, I mean, your reset, you saw it. I mean, it's a millimeter. Yeah. I mean, that's your reset. You're not waiting for the clunk. There's no long anything. It does its thing.
Now, Snob out there says that he tried to stick a 9-volt battery on his high point, but the trigger isn't digital. I'm not sure what was wrong.
Battery, like our system, we recommend the regular Duracell copper tops. So maybe try a Duracell. Maybe your high point will take off.
There you go. I don't even want to know what a high point would do. Like I said, I'm a fan of what High Point is and what they're trying to do, and for what they are, I'm a real big fan of theirs. But
what's funny is we actually High Point.
Your carbines are legit, like for real, like legit.
They're fun to shoot, no doubt. I mean, but they are what they are. They're a cheap, big, clunky, pop metal gun.
Right.
But we modeled their warranty, so we offer a lifetime warranty on our product.
Nice.
We look at who has the best warranty in the business, and believe it or not, it's them. I mean, you can literally go destroy that gun, cut it in half, send it to them in pieces, and they'll mail you a new one. So we modeled their warranty. I'll go over a couple questions that are probably going to come up as people start thinking about this, because these are the normal questions I get.
Yeah. Sure.
What happens if your battery dies? It's simple. You still have a mechanical trigger. Okay, so if the battery dies for whatever reason, you've expended your 2,000 to 4,000 rounds of ammo at one time at 70 cents a round right now. One, I want to hang out with you because you're doing some shooting, and I need that kind of shooting in my life.
Yeah.
But two, you just flip it back to mechanical mode, and it does its thing. And that's why we didn't merge the system entirely and make just a digital trigger. It's that hybrid for that purpose. And so one of the other questions that I get is, what happens if an EMP goes off? Okay.
Just in case that Red Dawn scenario happens,
Right. Well, so an EMP, and I had to do a lot of research into this because the first time somebody asked me, I was like, I was irritated. I was like, what kind of question is that? And then I was like, well, wait a minute, I don't know the answer.
It's actually not a bad one, yeah.
It's a great question. Like, what is the answer? So the answer with an EMP is that 9-volt batteries, alkaline batteries, lithium batteries, all are they're impervious to an EMP. So you don't have to worry about something that overcharges the system based on a current, right? And
Right.
EMP also, it matters, one, how far you are from the blast radius, how many things are in between you, because it works like, a radio wave. It basically has, if it hits different levels of different stuff, if there's obstacles in the way, it's going to take down the EMP along the way. That being said, we have a really, really strong polymer in here, and the board itself is coated. Not to mention, there's no semiconductors that can actually explode. So in theory, because we can't have an EMP to test this, in theory, nothing happens. You just change the battery maybe, but either way, you just go to mechanical, and then you don't have to
He's still running it, yeah. He's still got a nice 5-pound trigger, which is, pretty standard out there. So, yeah.
And if you go with the nickel boron kit, we actually offer a nickel upgrade system, which is just a nickel kit with the trigger and the hammer. It smooths that thing out either way. I've actually got the nickel on there. You can see it.
Nice.
So I use the nickel, and some weapons that we get in, we upgrade them for free because the cheaper manufacturing that's done, like on some of the Palmettos and some of the Andersons and some of the inexpensive lowers, the tolerances aren't exactly on point. So we end up putting a nickel in there to smooth out the process and allow it to run properly.
Gotcha. Clover, what you got? I'm sorry I interrupted you earlier, so go ahead and I know you had another question.
You didn't, not really. You covered it with G23 there. But yeah, I agree with the EMP. People overthink the EMP a lot of times. I mean, unless you're like right there with it, man, by the time that it even goes through trees or anything else, buildings and all that stuff, it mitigates it drastically. And you're absolutely right. A lot of people don't realize modern electronics have a lot of coatings and things that are, set to help protect against that as much as possible. Warsaw out there is saying, question for the trigger. They ever thought of letting Jerry Mickeldeck give it a try? The world's fastest target shooter in the USA. So do you have competition guys that are using it at all?
We have a 3-gun guy that uses the semi-auto version up in the Clarksville area. I used to shoot competition. One of the things we're talking about doing this year coming up is building a 3-gun team and doing some sponsorships for those 3-gun guys. And as far as Jerry goes, I shot with Jerry at Rock Castle back in the day when it was hopping. And I think that might be the only person that could hit our limit of our system. So you can't overrun the bolt You can't overrun the bolt like a mechanical. The bolt actually times itself with our system. So as the bolt goes back, it sends that signal and says, okay, we can fire again. So you can't outrun the bolt like you could with a mechanical binary. And so I think Jerry would be the only one that could get to that 13 rounds per second and tap our system.
Right.
Yeah, I'm looking at questions over here too. I can see them over on the right.
Yeah, G23, he's talking about are those anti-walk pins. So will any pins work with that system?
Yeah. So on this specific one, there's no anti-walk pins. We actually use the majority of the time the standard trigger pins because nothing changes. Like I said, the system is really, I mean, if you open this up and look at it, the only thing different is that the trigger bed, the flat piece where the trigger is connected that sits on the bottom of the receiver, we've cut that into 2 pieces to allow our system to work with it, but it works on its own. So I use, like on this one, I put, because it's a Colt and I had to buy the oversized pins. This is an old school Colt, and this is actually, you'll get a kick. This is the actual USMC quad rail. the legit Marine Corps issue quad rail. But this one I put anti-walks on. You don't need them as a general rule because it's not rocking the trigger. It's not rocking anything in there. And so everything stays pretty safe. I like anti-walk pins from K&S just as a precautionary though. So
yeah. Wayne out there said why it takes a removable trigger guard.
That's a great question. So this generation, the 1.2 generation, I don't know if you can see that in there. The way it's designed, let me turn it up. Okay, so right here, this little dude right here is hooked up to a bar, like a trigger bar. We have an actual little bar that goes from there to the contact point inside where the solenoid sits. And that is what makes that contact and pushes that lever in there. Basically, that's what does the work. The next generation that we have coming out, hopefully debuting at SHOT Show, will be one that doesn't require that. So it will fit any billet lower, any special construction, anything.
Okay. So as of right now, there was a question out there also talking about the installation side of things. And I guess it was Snob that says, you said the only way to get it is to send your lower in. But is that not the case? Now you said earlier you can install it yourself, but do you recommend them sending their lowers into you?
That's all based on ability. So
okay.
If you can do the install, if you're comfortable with the AR platform, we say go for it. You learn about the system that way. You understand how it functions, and you can kind of troubleshoot it. If in fact something gets in there, like some debris somehow, which is rare, something like that. But we also put out a 17-minute start to finish video on YouTube this past year to help people that want to do their own install. We do offer the free factory install if somebody doesn't want to do it though.
Now, does the warranty cover the same whether I individually install it or you guys? Is it change the warranty change at all? No, actually, I mean, the product's the product. If you install it with our directions and you do it the right way and you have a problem with it. So I'll give you an example. So the way our battery works, and I'm not going to name any names, and I don't know, actually don't remember their names anyway. But so the way our battery works in this, the 9-volt goes right here in the bottom. Okay. Well, let me put the little door back up. The 9-volt goes right here in the bottom. It slides in. Okay. We just literally slide it in, and then here's your connection, and you push the connection right onto the battery, and that's how it goes. It just goes in there, the little door closes, all's well. Well, we've had a few people put their battery on ahead of time like this, and then call us and tell us that we didn't make our wires long enough, and the wires came out because they were trying to push the battery in the compartment after connecting it. That ruins the entire board, and we replaced it because that's our warranty. So were they Air Force? Because the Air Force, they don't shoot a whole lot of guns. They may not have had the experience of doing that. No, I'm just joking, but
I don't know.
It's interesting. I mean, it's simple common sense, guys. It's really what it is.
Well, and it's in our directions. I know guys, we don't like directions, and we get stuff in the mail and we want to build it without looking at things. But when it comes to something that costs you $600, I would read them. I would understand the system right here, and I would find out that the battery goes in like that, and not trying to force it in the other way. So
you would think.
Hey, I got a quick question, though.
Yeah, man.
This to call in 530-36. Hey,
yeah,
Northern California.
It's a Google business number, so that was
okay.
When I signed up for the number through Google Voice, I wanted the last 5 numbers to spell out ghost, and that's the only number that they gave it. So
that's my old.
Oh yeah, okay, right on. No, it's a Google Voice business number, but the 44678 actually spells out ghost, and that's kind of I wanted to be able to do that for businesses and all that to remember it easy, and that was just the number that they assigned to me. So
somebody can call in right now while we're on the air.
They could call in right now. We'd answer right now on live. Rod every now and then calls in. Rod, if you're out there, call in and say hi to Gabriel or whatever. If anyone else wants to call in, we'll put you on air, so we're good.
Oh, we take the fifth caller, and I'll send them a DigiTrigger hat. Just get their info.
The fifth caller. All right. So if you're not the fifth caller, then I'm not going to answer the phone. Yeah. If you are the fifth caller, then I'll answer. You'll be live on air, and we'll get you a DigiTrigger hat. That's pretty sweet. So the fifth caller gets a hat. Now we're talking about batteries and all of that, and I'm sure one of the questions is going to come up to battery life.
Yeah.
And how about a ballpark of what battery life would be for the system?
So that's actually a really good question too. In this configuration in Safe or Fire, you don't use any battery at all. So Safe and Fire, that is your battery storage mode. When you flip to digital, when you go to that digital function, the battery comes on. If you leave it in there, you're going to kill that battery. It's like leaving anything on that takes the battery all night. Now, as far as how long the battery is good for, it depends on how you store it and how much you shoot it. But average is between 2,500 to 4,000 rounds of ammo.
All right, we got our fifth caller here.
Oh, we got.
Whoops. Well, they hung up. Never mind.
We had our fifth caller.
So we had our fifth caller. So next person to call in is going to get it. Here we go. Armed Citizen Podcast. You are live. Who's this? And they didn't want to be live, apparently. Here we go. We're going to take another one then. Armed Citizen Podcast. You are live. Who's this?
G23.
What's up, G23? So
the fifth caller?
You are the fifth caller, my man. So actually you're about the seventh caller, but two of them hung up. I guess they didn't want to be live on the air, but you were the fifth caller that actually stayed on the air. So you are the fifth caller.
Cool.
Hey, just send me an email, man.
Okay. You want me to send it to Ghost, or do you want me to?
Yeah, send it to Ghost. He can forward it to me.
Yeah, I'll just forward it to you. But thanks, G23. Appreciate all the questions and all of that. I'll make sure that he gets your address and all that stuff. So send me the email. I'll forward it on to him, and he's going to hook you up with a cool hat, man. So thanks for always watching and all that stuff, man. Appreciate you.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Do you have another question while you're live? Do you have a question while you're live?
The only question I would have is roughly maybe could he guesstimate on the AK trigger?
We are working on our next generation of AR triggers right now, and that's going to be a SHOT Show release, and that I would anticipate something hopefully by mid next year.
So
okay.
Middle of 2021. That's you got about a year or so, a year from now, possibly.
It takes, for what we're doing, we literally have to reinvent the entire trigger system to make it work the way we want it to. So it's a lot of CAD work, and Ben sits in his little hut and basically does it for hours and hours and hours on end. So I think he's got a couple hundred hours right now racked up on the new one that's going to be coming out in July or January.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, I will look forward to hopefully being able to get one for an AK platform.
Yeah, for sure, man.
All right, bro. Thanks, G23. I appreciate you, buddy.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, man. We'll see you soon.
Yep.
There you go. Modern technology, man. So G23. Pretty cool. I think Clover's got some questions built up over there. You want to go some rapid fire stuff here?
Yeah, we're gonna almost have to. I've got one. So before I forget that, I want to talk about that for just a second, because that's not written down. I am getting everybody else's questions, so continue to send them in, and I'll make sure we get them. Talking about the battery, nowadays everything is lithium-ion USB rechargeable. Is there any thoughts on moving to that direction with this trigger setup?
Well, we thought about that, to be honest with you. That's one of the questions I had when I first came on board with these guys is, what about rechargeable? And the problem with rechargeable is you've got to wait. Yeah. the 9 volts are so easy to get a hold of. A lot of tech uses them still, and they're so simplistic in nature. The 9 volt actually provides more juice than 4 CR123 batteries for our system to function properly.
That's true. Yeah, the voltage and amperage requirements and stuff could
Right.
be an issue. Yeah.
So the 9 volt, we use lithiums in cold weather, but the Duracell has just been the workhorse.
Just runs. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, Jason and Wayne out there both are asking, we're asking about the weatherproof, waterproof, cleaning supplies, things like that.
Right.
What's the deal with those situations?
Is it COP proof?
Yeah. So I moved away from using anything petroleum based a while back, because the petroleum based stuff eats away at your bluing, and that's why those old guns all have that silver finish to them. That 1940s, NRA magazine publication that had the diesel fuel and the oil and the mixture. That stuff just eats through guns eventually and breaks the metal down. And so I moved away from that stuff. We use 2 different products. Right now I'm trying out the gun cleaner stuff that they gave me. And we use another product called Modern Spartan.
Oh, yeah. We know Marcus. Well, Marcus is a interesting guy. Yeah,
Marcus is cool. I just actually got off the phone with him a little while ago. But so we use those 2 products right now in our systems. And as far as weatherproofing goes, they are water resistant like anything. It's an electronic. You submerge it long enough and it's gonna fail at some point. With our system though, nothing can really fail because of the water itself. It would be the battery interruption. So you can do a little bit of dielectric grease. That would help. Yeah, there you go.
Just use your smoke. Who needs a smoke detector anyway? So you just use that here,
I actually don't even have one in my bedroom. I've got one on the shelf out here. I was supposed to install 6 years ago. My wife's been ragging on me about that for a while. She's like, "When are you going to put that in?" I was like, "Yeah,
we'll get to it.
Eventually, when we have a fire and we need it,
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah. So as far as waterproof, the next generation, we've taken some steps to kind of pump that up a little bit, as far as the seal goes. But our board is encased in like a polymer plastic. So it's coated. It's pretty much waterproof.
So I mean, right now you go outside and it starts raining, you're going to be fine with it. You may just not want to submerge it and keep it into a bucket of water right now. But if you're out there training and it starts raining, you're not going to have to worry about that.
You're good. Yeah, you're good to go. We've actually got a video somewhere on YouTube of Ben just getting hosed like the whole time he's running the trigger. Just, they hosed him for, I think, almost a minute. And like, we're talking direct contact, not like raindrops.
Right.
So, I mean, essentially, like I said, really the only thing that's going to corrode is going to be your battery connection. So if you put a little dielectric grease in there, I mean, in theory, again, you should be good to go.
Yep.
Yeah. No doubt.
So I'm going to put this one ahead of, we've got 2 more out there, and the next one might be a rat's nest. But this one is Southpaw out there. He said he did check the website. Says no shipping to New York, California. Why other states are listed, state regulations on the trigger. How's all that work?
Yeah. So a lot of states, mostly the communist states in the gun world, they took liberty when the bump stock ban happened, and they threw the binary function trigger in there. They classified a trigger pull as one pull and release of the trigger, which is contrary to ATF law. ATF law says one pull for one action, one release for one action. So that actually, in effect, in some of those states, takes a set trigger out, because you set the trigger and then you have a release for the shot. Well, that essentially would cause some problems there as well, because it's 2 actions with 2 results. So we do offer that 1.1 trigger, that semi-auto trigger that's available in those states, but we have to go through and do those on special order, just the way our system is. We were having problems with people ordering whatever they wanted to order and trying to have it shipped to California and New York. So
we got this is the one that could be a rat nest, but we got Steven out there. Throwing out another model. He says, what about the CZ Scorpion? So you want to talk a little bit? Obviously, you talked about the innovations moving forward, the ideas making the product better and stuff like that.
Sure.
But as far as moving into different platforms, are you guys looking into all these multiple platforms? And my question with that I want to add to it, I'm going to ghost you here. I'm going to give you multiple questions. Are there requirements for the chassis or the framework in order to make that design work?
Right. So currently our platform is designed for anything with a mil-spec trigger group from, say, the magazine well back, right? So if that little section of your weapon from literally from here to here is mil-spec, right? Then our system works, because it doesn't just go on, the grip doesn't just go on, the actual grip screw is hollow. And that's where the plunger and the solenoid operate. So it goes through the grip screw, and that's proprietary. That's one of the things that we have patented. It goes through the grip screw itself to engage the trigger system. So if that's not available, our system won't work with it right now. Our new system, our new system as a California resident, I like that. Yeah, that's why I left, moved to America.
Right, moved to America.
Our new system, the version 2 that's going to come out next year, that system will take on other models. We know it works on the MPX and the MCX. We know that it's going to work on all the billet AR platforms. Right now, it has to be an AR platform. Are we moving into other things? Yeah, we are. But this is the flagship. This is the one that gets us in that motion to create these other options.
And that's what I was thinking. I mean, for example, something that come to mind really early in this conversation was the 1022.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, man, though, to that system and the way that all the electronics is in the grip, how would you make that work in the trigger group of a 1022? Total redesign, right? Total going back to the drawing board almost.
Yes and no. Yes. Essentially, everything internally has to be kind of figured out. And that's where Ben comes in. Ben is like, he's a genius. He's just like, I don't know. He's brilliant. The guy invented this thing when he was in college as a project.
That's crazy.
He invented this mechanical arm that literally you can wear, and it's pneumatic, and it gives you like 50 times the strength that you had before. The guy's brilliant. Yeah. He sits around and he thinks this stuff and breathes it all day long. So we've talked about the 1022. That's on our radar. We have a few guns that are prototyped right now that we have that we're really excited about, but I just can't say anything. But they are interesting, and they're not ARs.
All right. So our buddy Mike over at M-W Tactical says he just showed up, but he said, will the digital cleaner work with a regular trigger as well?
I'm guessing he meant
digital cleaner.
Yeah, I'm guessing he meant the digital trigger work
with a regular trigger as well. No, again, it's a proprietary trigger. If you're just jumping in, our system is based on mil-spec design, uses mil-spec springs, the internals of a mil-spec. Essentially, the hammer is identical.
But you do have the mechanical that you talked about, and I think that's what he's getting at, is that the battery dies. I think that's where he was going.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Battery dies. Look, I'll just take it out because people always think I'm joshing them when I do this. And but let me take the battery out real quick, and I'll show you how it functions without anything in it. Because people don't ever believe me. They're like, oh, no. I'm like, no, seriously, look, the battery's out. I'll leave the door out. There you go. No battery. Nothing in there, nothing up my sleeves. So here is, let me just turn you around. All right, there's mechanical. Still functions. Got to hold it higher. There you go. It's a functioning mechanical trigger without the battery.
There you go. So yeah, it's pretty cool. What I love about it is battery runs dead, whatever, it's still going to be a functioning trigger regardless of the situation. So I think that the idea of the digital trigger is intriguing, but it's also nice to know that if shit truly does hit the fan and things go way wrong and the battery runs dead, you're not going to have to just put that rifle to the side and say, well, can't use this anymore. It's still going to run. Right. So yeah, it's awesome. Chloe, you got anything else you want to bring up right now?
I'm good for now. I'm plugging the chat. If y'all got questions, throw them out there.
I've got answers to questions that haven't been asked because they will come up later. It always happens.
Right. Awesome. Go for it.
One of those is, what problem does the digital trigger solve, right? So there's two answers to that. One is it doesn't need to solve a problem. It just is a lot of fun to use, right? But the reality, the reason it was invented, designed, is because if you are running a mechanical binary trigger, one, you can outrun it. Okay, you can overrun it. You can fire it faster than the bolt carrier group can move, and it'll hiccup. Two, if your mechanical trigger, your mechanical binary trigger goes down, which is known to happen, your gun's completely down for the count, right? So it's broken. You have to replace the trigger group. That's the way it is. Your gun cannot fire. With our system, the way we designed it being a hybrid, is that if your digital trigger goes down, if the digital function goes down, it doesn't interfere with the mechanical side. So you always have a weapon no matter what. And the reason, and then the other question is, why is it so expensive? Because every single piece and part is made in America. Every single piece and part. So with that comes a royalty of being in America and having every single part, electronic, wire, everything. It's all 100% American made.
So it's not just assembled in America, it's made in America.
It's made in America, and it's assembled in the great state of Tennessee.
There you go. There you go.
So with the mechanical aspect, can anything of that be tweaked and tuned, or does that affect the digital aspect as well?
Right. So we recommend sticking with heavier springs. We found that when you move to a lighter spring system down in the 3-pound range for mechanical, it just doesn't function as well. It needs that hard hit, right? It needs that heavy hit from the hammer to really kind of push itself back and forth to function the way it needs to function. Now, that being said, you can work your trigger. You can smooth the surfaces out. You can polish it. You can do all the, the fancy stuff. But as far as the actual spring tension,
right,
we wouldn't go any lower than probably 4.5 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay. So polishing is good to go. Just don't change out the lighter spring.
Yeah, I wouldn't tweak the springs too much. Maybe go down to 4.5 pounds. You could try it. But we just haven't had any real good luck. So we just stick with stock springs.
Mike out there, before you go back, Chloe, sorry. Mike out there wants to know, when the spring wears out, how will that change the dynamics of its function? When the what wears out? When the spring wears out, just a natural wear tear of a rifle. If a spring wears out, how will that affect the dynamics of the functioning trigger? Like, are we talking trigger? If the spring wears out, then it's like any other rifle. The triggers, it's not going to perform as well. Yeah, if your trigger springs wear out, your trigger springs are wore out. I mean, that's what it is. This isn't going to save that problem. So our system works on a solenoid, and it's basically electromagnetic. So that portion of it, there's nothing as far as spring related goes on there. The only thing you would worry about is your trigger springs. But when you start with the stock spring, I mean, I ran stock springs forever in every gun I was ever issued, and we never swapped them. Right. I mean, not that they don't fail or don't break, but they last. I mean, they last a long time. Clove, do you have anything else to follow up with?
No, I was gonna say the same thing, is that I don't think I've ever seen a trigger or hammer spring fail.
If it is, never have. Your rifle's got bigger issues than if that trigger is going to work or not. Yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of goes back to that EMP thing. Is like, if an EMP goes off and you're standing close enough for it to ruin your electronics and your trigger, then you've got bigger problems.
So Wayne out there wants to know, I mean, I think this is going to be pretty self-explanatory. It says, will it work with a drop-in trigger? So
no. Where can you test fire this setup? Okay, cool. That's a good question too. So no, it doesn't work with drop-in triggers. It only works with our trigger, the one that we have designed specifically for it. There's a breakdown on our website. You can look at the schematics of it, and you can see how it works. That's digitrigger.com. And you can see what's involved as far as that goes. I think we're running out of time, or otherwise I'd grab you.
We can go a little bit. If you got time, we can go a little bit. Sure.
I know I have a kid in the out here in the house. Let me go grab one real quick, and I'll kind of show the pieces of it.
Right. So, Clove, what do you think so far? Like I said, I've heard of the DigiTrigger. I just had never really kind of been around one or really kind of listened to anything about it. But I think there's some benefits for a lot of different things.
I really like the way that it's the two systems, the mechanical and the digital, are isolated. Is what I really like. If it was an all digital, I would stay away from it completely.
And see, that's kind of maybe where I thought maybe I didn't get real excited about it for the last couple of years. Is I assumed that it was nothing but a digital trigger.
I'm not a fan of the whole binary thing at all. I'm not a fan of it. But with this, it's got me rethinking that a little bit, because I typically go, I like a stock trigger. Now I usually use reduced springs. But I like a nice polished, crisp stock trigger in my AR platform. So this would be an addition to that instead of completely changing that out. So it makes me rethink it a little bit.
So we actually, because we're not, am I muted? Am I good?
No, you're good. You're
good. So because we're not actually a mechanical, binary really refers to mechanical trigger.
Right.
It's the function of the mechanical trigger. We like to call ourselves non-binary just because it's fun to say. So we're a non-binary trigger. We don't assume our trigger gender.
I love it. That's nice. That should be on a t-shirt,
Don't assume my trigger gender.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to open this thing up, and I'll kind of show you the internals of the DigiTrigger itself. And bear with me here, because I've got to actually tear this thing apart real quick.
While you're doing that, I've got a question out there from Jacob. He wants to know, would you recommend this for new AR owners? Reason why is Jacob's like a young 20s, and he's literally just bought his first gun or so in the last month. So he doesn't own an AR, so he is looking for an AR, and this might be something that would be interesting for him.
So my thought process on that is, this is a tool to help you shoot better when you put it in that standard semi-auto mode, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's going to give you that reduced trigger pull. It's going to give you can focus more on your sight alignment, sight picture, and you don't have to focus so much on that trigger control right away, because you kind of lay your hand in there and you've got that nice smooth trigger, and you can kind of get that consistent motion, with the trigger system itself. Would I use it on the first AR? I don't see why not. I mean,
I actually think it'd be great, because once again, you can still use the mechanical trigger to learn the pull of an AR, and then once you kind of get used to that AR system and you take that step up, it's already there. And I agree. I think it'd be phenomenal for someone.
All right, so I got this apart. So this is the end. Let me get this thing lined up. This is essentially what the inside looks like. This is your battery compartment right here. That's where the 9-volt goes. And I apologize, my Mac is not.
You're good, bro. Oh, you're fine.
There we go. It's kind of in there now. So this would be your safety back here that we were talking about earlier. This right here, this is, okay, so normally on your grip screw, or normally on your grip, you would put a spring and a detent in here, right?
Right.
Well, that's actually how you turn our system on. That's what turns it on when you flip it to that third position. It engages that, it goes down, and it hits the contact, and it tells the system to arm itself. And then this guy right here, this is what your trigger pull is right there. That's your trigger pull. That is literally all that's happening right there. That's why when I say there's no reset, that's your trigger pull. That's what's happening inside. So to answer the gentleman's question earlier, and now that I have the parts I can show you, here is our sealed trigger system. This one's going on that gun behind me back there, that 22. I'm getting ready to put it on there because that CMMG 22 kit runs with our system flawlessly. So this would be the trigger. And I told you it's in two pieces. So that would be the way it is. There's your stock spring. It looks very similar to a standard mil-spec trigger. Here is your hammer, essentially a mil-spec trigger, just with a few modifications. I mean, it's essentially the exact same thing. You can see it. And then
has the discussion ever happened of maybe having a straight trigger?
This is the actual trigger bar. When you pull the trigger, this is what's connected to the electronic system. This little guy right here. I'm trying to get a good shot of it. There it is. So this is what's hitting that micro switch when it goes. You pull the trigger, it moves that much, it hits a micro switch. Moves that much, hits a micro switch, and lets it off. And then here is the base of the trigger. So when we put these two together, right here, you have essentially your mil-spec kit.
Wow. Have you guys ever contemplated an option of a flat trigger?
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me? Clover, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
You can't hear me, man?
I hear you.
Okay.
No, not me.
Really?
Oh, now I got.
You got me now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I got
okay.
you.
Okay. Have you guys ever? That's weird. StreamYard's a weird thing. So, have you ever guys thought about having a flat trigger?
Yeah. So, as we develop this system, we want to, like I said, this is our flagship. This is the product that's getting us there onto the market. We have a proprietary selector switch, and I just got word that our ambi is coming out. So we've got proprietary selector switch. We'll have an ambi switch coming out soon, as well as a flat trigger for the system itself. So those will be add-ons or upgrades, if you will, to the system. And we also now offer Cerakote. We've got a Texas Cerakoter that we're using, a female. She's freaking awesome. She just did 3 of our guns, and I'm getting them put together tomorrow.
Oh, that's awesome. Clove, you have anything else back there?
Let's see here.
Yeah, it's got some questions about the MSRP. Southpaw was saying with the MSRP at $5.99. I know you spoke about everything being made in the U.S. That's always going to be a little more pricey. What are some of the other factors that went into setting that MSRP?
So the MSRP is basically it's based on a tiered system like anything else. You've got distributor level, and you've got consumer level, and you've got dealer level pricing. So we, being from that side of the house where dealers a lot of the time don't get the biggest benefit, the distribution companies do. We go dealer direct a lot, and so our dealers actually they see a margin that works really well for them. But to be honest, we're not. The average product in the gun market is 5 times its value, right? So by the time it hits consumer, it's 5 times. We're rolling at 2.5 times like value, basically, meaning that essentially what this costs us is around $150 to $200 less than we sell it for, right?
Right.
So
Sure.
That's why we offer the 10% off discount once in a while for things. But we also have dealers out there that have to make money, that are going to buy these products in bulk and sell them to their consumers.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of people fail to realize, I mean, the whole idea of going customer direct through the website is great, but if you know anything about business, that's a horrible move. And in order to get, like you're talking about, those dealers and distributors, you have to have a price set to where they can make some money. Otherwise, you're not going to get them out there. And being in more places is beneficial to everybody. Right.
And the other thing with that too is that the technology that's in it is where some of that value is. These parts aren't cheap. I mean, if you dealt with electronics at all, the stuff that's in here, these aren't cheap parts. These are quality American-made parts. So a lot of that cost is literally right inside this trigger system. Now we could, we could have come out and said, hey, this is $1,000 trigger. It's the biggest, baddest trigger ever made. But we wanted to make it economical. But also we didn't want to shoot ourselves in the foot and get cheap parts and
Right.
down around that $300 price mark like the other triggers are, because it's really superior in nature.
Well, and you know, one satisfied customer will tell 10 people. One dissatisfied customer will tell 100 people.
People.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'll tell you what I like seeing, and like I said, I'm not the creator of this. I'm not a company owner. I work for the company. I handle basically the day-to-day operations. But what I really like about it is that we rarely ever see problems. You know, a lot of the times when you deal with tech, there's issues and you see returns and warranty items.
Right.
I can count them. Like I could count them on two hands in the last 8 months, how many I've seen have come back. And it's been something so minor that we just had to like tweak something, you know, or move something, or it wasn't quite lined up right because the customer did the install. When we do the install, we send it out. It's been tested. It's been fired. It's been checked. Everything's good to go. Okay, here we go. How does that work?
Along with the install is this Patriot. He's a former Marine out there as well. You send them your lower, you had to go through an FFL. They ship directly back to you since it's yours, or how is that going to work?
Yeah, we're a Type 7 manufacturer, so we're factory. So you can ship it to us direct, and we mail it right back to your house. And we have a military discount out there too. It's the code for that is MIL 100, MIL 100. That's a military discount on the system itself, and we do ask for verification with that as well.
214 or
yeah, you know, usually what it
ID
is,
or something,
or a phone call to me, and we chat for a few minutes, and I find out
if you're real or not. Yeah, exactly.
We can talk for a few minutes.
It doesn't take long.
So
yeah, it's awesome. So when I was watching your Instagram chat, now we're talking about people that, and I get where the question came in from. I remember the question, and you kind of chuckled at it. And I'm sure it's not the first time you ever heard of it, but for the guy that kind of gets a little weird, they were saying, well, what do you do about when you engage the system, there's a red light that comes on. What do you do with that? You're like, put some tape over it, you know what I mean? But I mean, you know, is that something that you guys have thought about? Maybe the next generation is to figure out something with, is there a reason why you have the light come on? Is that to let you know, or the user know that it's engaged, or what?
yeah, you know, when you make, and this is this is an old military thing, is you run at the pace of your slowest runner, right?
Unfortunately, yeah.
So in technology, we have to do the same thing. If you look at your iPhone, right? And I have 2 iPhones. I don't own an Android, okay? It's because I don't like Androids because they're too complicated for me. I like dumb stuff, right? These things are dumb. My kids can use them. They're 5, 8 years old. You know, they know how to use this stuff because it's easy. I get on like a BlackBerry was my worst nightmare back in the day.
Oh, I hated Blackberries. Yeah.
People over there just like ticking away. Well, when it comes to tech, especially in the gun world, you want to make ease of use a big deal. So the light comes on, that lets you know something's going to happen. It's a normal visual response that we see every day. Stoplight comes on, you know something's going to happen, right? Brake light comes on, you know something's going to happen. So it's kind of like a program in a way for you that's been done. Is okay, the light comes on, we know something's going to happen.
Yeah.
But can you turn the light off? Sure. Do you want one without lights on it? Great. We'll make one for you. I can just take the light.
Just put some tape on it. Like you said, just
put some tape on it. Put a piece of black tape on it if you don't like the lights. But my question for that is, what are you doing at night with your digital AR in the civilian sector that requires you to be worried about your lights?
And anyone that knows, and Peter brings up there, anyone that knows that's actually worked with red light, you can't see it much outside of about 5 feet away from you. So it's not like someone, 100 yards away is going to sit there and say, oh, there's his position because I can see the red light. No, it's red light. It's red for a reason. Right.
Yeah. So red light is the most diffused, if you will, red and green, which is why the red and green lasers are popular. Red, because it doesn't take on those ambient lights.
Ooh, here's a great question. Speaking of the tape, if someone tapes over the grip safety, will it still work?
So that would be unnecessary. And the reason it would be unnecessary is because we put that on and off switch on the grip safety, right? So if you want to disengage the grip safety, you just press that little SR button right there.
And that good.
It's the same as holding it down.
Exactly.
So yeah, yes. Would that turn the safety off if you just tape it down? Yeah, it's engaging the safety.
You can just push a button.
But yeah, we made the button for that purpose specifically. And those lights are so small. Like, I mean, that's why there it is. Those lights are. But you know, you can. And here's the other thing: is literally when your hands on it,
your hand's going to be covering it up anyways.
Yeah, you can't see them. So if you go down and you just pressed your pull and release mode, you're good to go. You don't have to have your lights showing. And they don't stay on. They go on, they go off. Yeah.
Clover, you said you had a follow-up.
Yeah, we were talking about these lights, and I want to take this in a different perspective, and I don't think Patriot would mind. Patriot out there is blind, of course. So for those that are visually impaired, they can't see that light. So are there audible cues and things when you turn it on or off that you will know what mode it's in?
No, that's a great question. I've never had that question.
Are there clicks? Are you able to tell if it's engaged by pulling the trigger and it clicks or something?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or a vibration. A vibration, kind of like your phone vibration, would be kind of cool.
Yeah, that vibration thing is something I've looked at and talked to Ben about before. It's kind of a neat idea, a concept, as far as just giving you a physical, like it's on. But what we would recommend in that situation is to you can feel the buttons. There's 2 of them. You can feel them. They're prevalent. They pop up just a little bit. But in that scenario, I would say push the button, test the trigger, because the trigger works without one in the chamber, right?
Right.
We practice with them all day long, just sitting here just like this and just running them as fast as we want to run them.
Right.
So, put it in that PR mode. It stays in that mode, that pull and release, until you take it out or until you flip it back to fire or safe.
Right.
Awesome. Chris, do you have any other questions right now? Anyone out in the chat have any other questions? Because we have a special announcement that we want to get to, but I want to make sure we get all the questions asked before we jump into those, the announcements. So do you have anything else right now, Chris?
We're caught up in the chat, so we're good.
Okay. What about you?
Do I have questions?
No, Clover, I was asking if he personally had any questions.
I have questions.
If you have questions, you have a question, go for it, man.
I have questions for myself every day. So
as long as you don't answer yourself, I guess it's all good, right?
Is that true?
Oops. I was always told that you can talk to yourself all you want, just don't answer yourself. That's when they have problems.
Really?
I answer myself all the time. I have full conversations, maybe because I have split personality, but that I don't know.
Yeah, well, they make medication, so
they've got a medication for anything these days.
Yeah, man. Except a virus they invented, but whatever.
Right, exactly. It's November 5th, man. The world's going to change. November 5th, I'm telling you, it's going to be November. All right, so before we go into the special announcement, we always like to have fun with our guests.
Okay.
And we do some rapid fire questions, and Clover and I'll just throw them out there. They're kind of interesting. Some of them are funny, some of them are and all that. But I'm going to go with the first one. Clover, we'll just go back and forth with Clover and I. What's up?
Is this a one-word answer kind of thing?
So
I need to keep my phone off. Where are we at?
Hey, you got to do what you got to do, man.
All right, well, I'm just going to keep them on this time.
All right, so the first question, we'll start out with gun stuff. What's the first gun that you personally bought?
That I personally bought? I bought a... Wow.
Right?
Well, yeah, I paid for it with my own money.
Yeah.
But my dad picked it up, and it was a... It was a 22 revolver, but it wasn't the Ruger. It was the little 22 revolvers. The single sixes, but it's not the single six. I can't think of the name of that dang thing.
You're getting into Clover
like the Rough Rider.
Yeah, like a Rough Rider, but they weren't called that back in the day. They were something else.
The Rough Rider was the oh good Lord, the Tex before it was the Rough Rider.
Yeah, it was like that. It was back. I mean, it was when I was a kid. I was, probably 13, 14 years old, and it was like $99.
Yeah, probably FIE Tex or something similar.
All right. The second one is barring no NFA. There's no NFA. You have unlimited funds, which means you can literally get what you want with no restrictions. What's your dream gun?
Oh man. I'd have to have an A10 with the Gal. I'd have to have that. I mean, that would be my dream to have one of those. I mean, that is such a neat platform that was built, an airplane that was built around a gun.
Around the gun. Yeah, it's pretty badass. Yeah.
That's pretty dope. I mean, I'd have to have one of those.
I mean, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Clover, you have any gun?
No, I can't think of anything going. I usually don't go that route. But
I know. So now we're gonna have fun. So we're gonna talk. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if the bun is split all the way through, then it would be a sandwich.
See, I agree. A sandwich has to have two pieces of bread, right?
Correct. But a hot dog bun is one piece of bread that has been filleted.
Correct. So technically, if the bun's still intact, you do not believe a hot dog's a sandwich, correct?
Correct. Now you can make a hot dog sandwich with two pieces of bread.
And I do it all the time.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Is a Slim Jim a candy bar?
No, man, that's a beef stick.
That's right.
A meat snack.
We've got a chef that's a friend of ours. He's in our group and all that. He's a chef up in Pennsylvania, great gun guy. And these questions started a couple years ago on his live show that he does, and it's kind of turned into this thing. So I literally go to SHOT Show now, and I'll ask just people in booths like randomly, "Hey man, is it Slim Jim a candy bar?" They're like, "What the hell?" Or ask them like Luke Skywalker or Han Solo.
Right. I'd be a Han Solo on that one.
There you go. Clover's got some good ones as well. What you got, Clove?
Orange juice or milk?
Oh man, I'm lactose intolerant at this point in my life, so I'm an OJ guy.
Favorite breakfast cereal?
Oh man, my favorite. I do like some Pops, man.
There you go. Ford, Chevy, Ram, Toyota, or Nissan?
I drive a Tacoma right now.
And I've had to add the foreign stuff in there lately.
Well, 10 years ago, you just could have said Ford, Chevy, or Ram, but now you have to add the Toyota and Nissan now.
You really do.
I've owned them all, and to be honest with you, knowing what I know now about the auto industry, my dad was with the auto industry for years and years. Toyota was the last company he worked for. They are more American made than Ford.
Right.
Yeah.
They are.
And
I'm assuming you're more of a pickup guy instead of a sports car guy at this point in your life.
I'm a new truck, old car guy.
Nice. Okay.
I ride Harleys. I'm in a motorcycle club out here in Tennessee, so I ride a lot.
Right on. So Chef Boyardee out there, he's here and he says it's a sandwich and a Slim Jim is a candy bar. Are you sure this guy's legit? So this is the chef that we were talking about.
So if I'm not mistaken, the process of making candy and the process of making a beef stick are two entirely different processes. You can't make a Slim Jim the same way you would make a candy bar. It doesn't.
It would be terrible.
I mean, there's no factory that works that way. It's literally a sliver of skin packed full of lips and holes, all jammed in there and tied off. That's a beef stick.
Right. Jacob S wants to know, is it soda or pop?
It's Coke.
Agreed.
Exactly. I've had to change my ways, and later on in my life to be call it soda. But when I was growing up in Dallas, it was like, hey, what do you want to drink? I want a Coke. Oh, what do you want? Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, what flavor?
Everything was Coke.
Yeah, this is a Coke. It just happens to be a Sprite.
Happen to be a Sprite. Exactly.
Right.
I think that's a Southern thing, maybe. I think that calling everything a Coke is a Southern thing because I have friends up in the North who are like, why do you call everything a Coke?
Now there is certain things you don't call a Coke. Root beer is not a Coke.
Root beer is not a Coke.
A cream soda is not a Coke.
You go get one of those. Yeah. You can go get one of those. What are they like? The orange Sun-Kissed or whatever it was. That's not a Coke. If you're talking Dr. Pepper, Coke, Pepsi, and all that, it's all Coke.
Sundrop is not a Coke either.
Sundrop is not a Coke. Yeah.
Sundrop drink is not a Coke, and people out here will fight you over that. RC Cola is RC Cola.
RC is RC. Yep, it's an RC.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I would agree with that. Growing up, Mr. Pibb was Mr. Pibb.
Right.
It was not a Coke. But Dr. Pepper
Coke.
is a Coke.
Right.
But Mr. Pibb is not.
And I like Mr. Pibb better. It tastes better.
I do too. I don't find it much anymore. I find Dr. Thunder, but that's about all I find anymore is Dr. Thunder.
Thunder. Ugh.
Oh, it's terrible. All right. So, see Rod out there. I just, I thought I liked you, man. I thought I liked you. He said it's all pop. I can go with soda before I go with pop.
Pop is Kool-Aid. So pop is a fruit drink.
I think of popsicle when I hear a pop. Hey, give me a pop.
And I get that from my grandfather, who's actually still alive, has always called any type of a fruity drink or punch, like Hawaiian punch or anything like that. Okay. He always called it Polly Pop. And so any kind of a fruity Kool-Aid type drink is pop.
Yeah, see, we always went with like Kool-Aid or, and it didn't matter if it was Kool-Aid or not, but hey, I want some Kool-Aid. Hey, you want some cherry or grape or whatever. But when I hear pop, like I think a popsicle, like, hey, I want a pop. Give me a pop. I want a popsicle.
Right. Yeah.
Like I said, I can go with soda, but pop is weird to me, That's
a Michigan, like central northern thing. Pop.
Yeah. It's
pop.
Pat.
Take a pick.
All right. So we always have fun with those. And so we do have an announcement out there that I think that the people that have we had 40 some odd at one point. The people that have left are going to be a little disappointed, possibly. So we have a special announcement that we're going to run through. So you want to go ahead and talk about it real quick?
Yeah. So what we decided to do, one, I love supporting other Marines and vets in general, and so does Ben and the company. What we're going to do is we're going to do a giveaway of a digital trigger. All right. So here is the rules for this giveaway. You have to like Ghost Tactical on Instagram. You have to like Digital Trigger on Instagram. And when we do the post, I will do a post with Ghost Tactical's name attached.
And I'll share it. Yeah.
We'll share it. You need to comment on that post, Ghost Tactical. And that'll let us know that you're entered in the giveaway. Anybody who comments and doesn't comment Ghost Tactical won't be entered. So we will put up an Instagram post. In fact, what I'm going to do right now, since I got it, I'm going to take a picture of us, and I'm going to post that picture right here. Well, let me get myself out of the way here. All right, there we go. Do one more. Let's go. Hey, Clover, make a face. All right, just
he hasn't moved in an hour and a half, bro.
All right, so I will post that picture that I just took of us after we get done with this, and I'll tag Ghost in it, and we'll get that rolling, and we will run this for what's today?
The 25th.
The 25th. Let's say we'll conclude this. I'm trying to think when I'm going to be on the road. I'm riding my Harley cross country here pretty soon.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to go right through the Rockies, man.
Nice.
Yeah, my dad is actually flying out and picking up the motorcycle that I got him, and we're going to ride back together. It'd be the first trip we've ever done like that.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, it's going to be killer.
The weather in Colorado, you're hitting the right times. It's going to be like 70 degrees up there, and before it gets snowy. Yep. That's perfect timing.
Yep. So I'd say we conclude this. Let's see, maybe the 15th. We'll pick a winner Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we do it on a show? I'll pop in or something.
Yeah. We'll have you back on the 15th or something. Yeah.
Whatever that date falls into there. It'll have to be prior to that because I'm leaving that week. September the 15th, I leave that week.
Let's do it September the 8th.
Is that a Tuesday?
That's the second Tuesday. I think next Tuesday is the 1st. The next one after that is the 8th. So that gives us 2 weeks to do that. And we'll announce the winner on live on the 8th of September right here.
We'll hook you up. We'll hook you up with one of these right here. You have to follow Ghost Tactical, follow DigiTrigger, and share the post. And then on that post, tag Ghost Tactical. And that'll be how you get in.
Awesome. So, guys, we've talked about this. You can get a free one, and it doesn't get better than free. So, I appreciate you guys, Gabriel, for doing that. That's awesome.
Sure.
And once again, out there, you can use the code DT10, Delta Tango 10 for 10% off. Or if you're a veteran, it's Mill 100. Is that correct? Mill 100.
Yeah, we'll ask for verification for that code. If it comes through and you purchased it before we ship it, we ask for that verification. And like I said, you can call me. Our phone number is on the website, but I can give it to you here. Our number is 931-774-4359. And you can call us direct if you want that military discount, and we'll do the verification and get you set up.
There you go. Wayne out there says, what if you don't use Instagram? Pards, if you're ever going to sign up for Instagram, this is the time to do it. And you don't have to keep the Instagram for more than 2 weeks. Sign up for Instagram, whatever. But if you're ever going to get on Instagram, this would be a reason to sign up on Instagram.
Use a fake name. You don't have to participate. And all you have to do is follow Ghost and DigiTrigger, those two. That's it. Nobody else. You don't have to accept friends. Why not?
Yeah.
There's an interesting one. Why don't we do it on the September 11th, which is a Friday? I'm actually going to be busy on September 11th here locally. We're I don't know how to put this. It's not, and it's going to sound bad. It's not a celebration, but we always, our town does a little thing September 11th and all of that. Because what we do is on September 11th here in our town court square, we place out flags, American flags on September 11th. And they stay all the way through Veterans Day in November. So they're like people, we put a flag for every person in the county that has died in war. We put a flag for out there, and then anyone can buy flags for loved ones or whatever. And so usually the whole court square, the county courthouse, the whole square is full of American flags. So we do that every year on September 11th. So I won't be around to do it live on September 11th. So
we'll and that's a Friday.
September 11th is a Friday, but the 8th is a Tuesday.
Friday.
Pancake Boy says there's a military discount. What about a culinary discount? No. Anyone that thinks that a Slim Jim is candy does not get a discount. Sorry.
Yeah, and I don't really know I don't know the extent of his culinary experience. So,
he's an actual chef. Like, he's legit. I'll give him that. He's legit. He's an executive chef up in Pennsylvania at a really nice, fancy foo-foo restaurant,
In PA, where at?
It's I can't give you the name because he doesn't like that out, but it's in Harrisburg.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I go up there every year.
You might have eaten at his place, and you can probably connect offline and all of that. But yeah, he's in Harrisburg, but he doesn't give the name because there's some weird people in YouTube area. He doesn't give the name of his restaurant out.
Yeah,
live. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I got you. Yeah, I was just up there. I did the show up there. I do it every year.
Yeah. Yeah, he goes. I think he goes for maybe a day or two. Obviously, the 2 weeks, but he goes up there and walks around and does some stuff as well. But really cool guy. Really cool guy.
And if I can get the name of that restaurant, I'll have Go send it to me. I'll make sure to stop in while we're up.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'll send it to you.
It's not
JMA. What's that?
It's not McDonald's, is it?
No. It's a little step up from it. I mean, not much. Like it's like Wendy's. Okay.
How do you get higher than McDonald's, man?
McDonald's fries, Whataburger. That's how you get better than McDonald's. Is Whataburger.
I do like a Whataburger, but because I'm West Coast, I got to go In-N-Out, man.
Go In-N-Out, and well, here they call it Hardee's, but out there we called it Carl's Jr. In-N-Out is so much better than Carl's Jr. It's not even funny. But I grew up in Texas. When I was Pendleton, we ate a lot of In-N-Out, but I'm still gonna go Whataburger as my go-to.
Yep, Whataburger.
That's just, it's Whataburger. That's right, Whataburger. Yeah.
Whataburger.
Yeah. JMA's a Marine out there. He says VA card DD214. What does he want to do? He basically said, he'll going to verify. Worst thing in the world is give him a shout and he'll verify. His guy was recon. So
if you're a Marine, we'll just get butt naked and wrestle, and I'll find out real quick if you're a Marine. Okay? If you back out of that challenge, you weren't in the Marine Corps.
Let's see here.
Just give me a call or shoot me an email, info@digitrigger.com. We'll get you squared away.
Yeah. Good solid dude. Yeah, he was with Second Force.
Oh, so, cool.
Yeah, I was out on the West Coast. He was East Coast, and all that. But yeah, so he said the habit close second. The habit. I don't know what the habit is. Is that a? I never heard of the habit. It must be like a fast food restaurant. I never heard of it. I don't know. Anyways, all right. So, guys, what we want to do is we're going to give you a few minutes real quick and plug once again. I'll spam everything with all the links and all of that, but give some people some plugs. Are you guys going to be doing some shows? You going to be a SHOT Show? What all do you guys, the company, plan on doing so people can find you and all that?
Yeah, we've got pretty much every real social media platform out there. Instagram. We're on TikTok now. I take liberty and make fun of popular TikTok videos, but I use guns. So it's kind of fun. We also do some shooting videos on YouTube, Instagram, and it's all under DigiTrigger. So if you just look up DigiTrigger, you'll find us. We pop right up on the internet. Our SEO optimization is on point. We're doing really well with that. So, you can pretty much track us down that way. If you're in Tennessee or you're passing through Tennessee, we like first-time reactions to the weapon system when we have people use it. So if you're going to be around, give me a call in Middle Tennessee area, Nashville area, and we'll get you out on the range and let you try one for the first time. And I'll video it because we like to have that content.
That's awesome. A lot of companies don't want people stopping by for whatever reason, a multitude of reasons, but I think it's awesome that you guys are welcoming walk-ins to do that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, just call us in advance because the way our warehouse works, we're spotty. We're there. We're on the range. We're shooting content. We're testing products. There's a lot going on.
So Snob says he'll tell his 12-year-old daughter to follow you on TikTok.
That's fine.
Let's see here. JMA says he's got family in Clarksville.
He's got a TikTok too. You know it. Anybody says something like that.
Oh yeah, he does.
TikTok too. They're over there watching every Emma Nostra's video, trying to replicate it.
No doubt. Yeah. I'm trying to think. I know I signed up for Parler, but I haven't used it. I honestly don't know if I signed up for TikTok or not. I think I did, and then it got really weird. Like the very first day I was on, I was like, "Oh, okay, I think I'm done." But
I got my second post banned. I had to go in and do a
really.
I had to do a appeal or whatever on it.
I get mine banned every single time, and I have to appeal it, and 10 minutes later they put it back up.
Yeah.
I want to do one where I'm just burning the Chinese flag and see what happens with that.
Right.
Like, what happens if I burn the Chinese flag on TikTok?
Because people don't realize, I think, well, if the rumors are true, TikTok is owned by the Chinese government, and that's why they used to spy on us, I believe. Is that what they're saying?
What they're saying.
That's the rumor.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, so Clover, do you want to kind of plug your stuff real quick before we head out of here?
No, not necessarily. It was a great conversation. Everybody get over to DigiTrigger on Instagram and take advantage of that. That's awesome.
So before we head out, we want to mention this one more time. So Gabriel and the guys over there at DigiTrigger are going to give away a free DigiTrigger. All you got to do is go over to Instagram, follow DigiTrigger, and follow Ghost Tactical.
Actually, let's just do it on this post right here. Find that post.
Okay, there you go. Because we both have that post on ours, and on that one, you want it on your page, on the DigiTrigger page. Find that post, or do you want to do it on? Yeah, and just okay. So, do you want them to share it or just comment Ghost Tactical?
They need to comment and share.
There you go. Comment and share. When you comment, put Ghost Tactical as a comment, but that's going to be on the DigiTrigger's Instagram page is the thumbnail for tonight's podcast. Share that, follow us, follow them, comment Ghost Tactical. If you do that on Tuesday, September 8th, and 2 weeks from today, Gabriel will be back on the show and we will announce the live winner of the DigiTrigger. So assuming that it's going to happen, you guys going to be at SHOT this year?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we are already planned. We've already paid for our booth space. And
where are you, down the dungeon, or where are you?
No, I think we got moved up this year. Last year we had a table, an outdoor table at like Media Day or something.
Okay.
This year I think we actually got bumped up. Same thing happened at Harrisburg for the Great American. They bumped us up. They put us on an end cap in the center next to SIG this time.
Really?
Yeah, we had a lot of traffic. They ping all that. They make all that traffic. Yeah. They know who's moving where. Mm-hmm. So
last year at SHOT was the first year they used the chip technology, and they have sensors all over, and they know exactly where you're going and how many people are passing booths and all that. So
we've
been going the last few years. Clover's been going. We usually we're gonna probably get into their house or apartment or something together like we usually do, but. We'll definitely got to hook up and we'll come down and find out what booth you're at least and all that.
Yeah, for sure. And if here's the other thing too. If you've got anybody out there that wants to become a dealer, they can just go on our website and fill out the dealer info. Here's the coolest thing about this.
Cool. So any FFL can sign up to be a dealer.
Yeah, if you want to sign up to be a dealer, just sign up. You don't have to have a special license for this.
Nice.
We also have what we're going to start this year is an affiliate program. So let's say you want to go out and you want to represent Digital Trigger, right? Mm-hmm. So we'll basically consign them to you, and then you have a profit margin you can make, and you're in a contract for those 10 triggers, whatever you get. Right. And then you can go sell those triggers, and then you send in, then
you keep a percentage of it.
Correct. We're going to start working some sort of a program like that because we do a lot of good business at small gun shows, but we can't be everywhere.
Right.
And mom and pop shops as well. Like, we don't have a minimum buy-in if you come on board as a dealer. The minimum is one. You got to buy one to sell it. So, but anybody.
Clover says affiliate. I see a lot of shilling in my future. No, I think that's a very smart business model right there. Is the more places that you can get the product out, that incentivizes people to push your product and all that, but allows you, like you said, it allows you not to have to find the manpower, say, hey, I need you 3 guys to go to these 3 different gun shows this weekend. Right. So that's smart. I like that.
Well, I mean, look, if let's say you go to a gun show, I'll just take, you go to a gun show and you set up and we provide you with the stuff that you need in your area. We'll give you a tablecloth. We'll give you the banner. You go and then you got your demo gun and you can show people the system. I mean, if you're making, top tier would be $50 per unit. I mean, you sell 10 of these things in a day. I mean, you're doing good, right?
Yep, absolutely.
So it's not like a pyramid scheme because we're not going to build like, little teams and then, you give them 25 cents or anything. It's just, we want good people this next coming year. to go out and understand the product and represent it well. So we're going to be looking for those outside sales guys.
Awesome. So I'm assuming that when you say that, and I'm not trying to go down another rabbit hole because I don't want to keep you on forever, but if you're starting to do that process, obviously you've already talked about future models and future products coming out.
Oh yeah.
It sounds like business is good enough to where y'all are having to maybe expand a little bit. And that's wonderful to hear.
We are. We're definitely expanding. We're growing rapidly. And we're growing at such a rate that we're running out of stuff on our website right now to sell. We're running out of triggers. We're running out of guns. What we have on our website right now, that's it. That's it. We've got nothing left right now. It's whatever's on the website that's left is what we have left. We don't have anything in reserve.
Yeah. Okay. Talking about some stuff. Binaries illegal in Indiana. Jacob may have come in late, but this, binaries may be illegal in Indiana, but I don't know. Can you discuss Indiana? Are you guys good at Indiana right now? Because you're not a binary trigger.
Well, no, but Indiana's good to go. The ones that are not good to go is like Washington, California, New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Florida,
DC.
What's that?
Is DC okay?
Oh no.
I was wondering, maybe DC's okay with that, but you have to know the president to get a concealed carry permit, but maybe All right. So Patriot in the Dark says, let him know if he needs a blind T&E helper, he's available. Like I said, he's a former Marine, lost his eyesight, and but he still does awesome content out there. Good friend, good dude, and all that. But so guys, it has been an hour and 41 minutes, and honestly, I didn't realize it has been that long. I'm sorry for keeping you here, bro. Thanks for hanging out. It was a great conversation. We could talk forever, but we're going to have you back on in 2 weeks from today to give away a DigiTrigger and all that. But guys, make sure you get a digital trigger, digitrigger.com. Use DT10, Delta Tango 10 for 10% off. If you're a military, it's MIL 100. They'll have to verify that you're a veteran and all that, which shouldn't be difficult if you're for real. And the giveaway, guys, get over to Instagram. It's going to be an Instagram giveaway. You've got to follow our page. You got to follow DigiTrigger. It's just at DigiTrigger. Go to the post that he's talking about right there. It shouldn't be hard to find. It says Armed Citizen Podcast. You have to share that post and comment Ghost Tactical. If you do those things, it's 4 things, and it'll take you less than 30 seconds to do. And in 2 weeks, you might win a $600 trigger system. You can't beat that. So, it was a great show, and it was fun. It was great talking, and I think everyone enjoyed it. And I'm looking forward to where DigiTrigger is going in the future. Obviously, thanks for being part of the show. The giveaway, the discounts are great. Do you have anything in closing that you want to say before we head out of here?
I see your boy over here is crying about the culinary discount.
He said use the code culinary for a 0% discount.
Yeah. You know what? I like that guy already.
Oh, he's great, dude. He's hilarious. He's your kind of people, man. You really
pass my info on to him, and if he wants things, I'll give him.
He's got a show on Sunday nights called The Closer, and it's a dumpster fire, but it's a hell of a fun show that you might just have fun just checking out. But I'll send you his info.
Yeah, send me all his info.
I will. Yeah. See, Clover says use DT10 for your 10% culinary discount. That's all you got. He's giving you a culinary discount. Just gonna call it something else.
Yeah, people will literally eat that up.
Yeah, literally. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching live. If you've made it an hour and 43 minutes in replay or in podcast, if you're doing a replay, God bless you. If you're doing a podcast, you must have one hell of a commute to work. Thank you guys for always listening. If you're watching live, we love you guys. Thank you to my patrons. Thank you once again to Sportsman's Guide and to our good friends Rod and Shelly Gates of the Gun Cleaners. Go check them out. Go check out. They've got the lube, and they've got the salt. They've got it. They got the solvent. They got the lube, and obviously, Gabriel's wearing a hat. Great guys, great friends of ours, of Gabriel's and of Clover's. Good friends of ours. So go check them out as well. Thanks for always for watching. We will see you next Tuesday night. Until then, Semper Fi.